So as the season goes on, we're back with Grimm, and mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the scariest of them all? Wah-ha-ha-ha-ha. Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing Grimm, Episode 8, The Sun Also Rises. And there's a little bit of a play on words there, because we're talking about all sorts of things, but we'll get into that. I'd like to just start off by saying that the main thoroughfare of this episode and all the episodes has been this death thing, this stick, and the idea of exactly what's coming, and it builds quite to a crescendo as we're approaching the end of the season. I am kind of getting a Cthulhu vibe, but at the same time, Grimm is still keeping to its procedural roots, it just slightly changed it up. Tonight's episode, Nick spent the first half of it doing his thing, while Hank and Wu ended up doing the procedural stuff. Now, this isn't really that big of a change, except for the fact that Wu seems to have been given pretty much a promotion, even if it's not in name. And I kind of like that. I like the fact that they've given him more of a responsibility as the show's gone on. He's always been one of my favorite supporting cast characters. But let's get into specifics. So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. So the episode starts with Eve, and once again, she looks into a mirror, this time a hand mirror, and the death thingy shows up, whatever it is. And this time, whatever it is, puts her in the hospital. It attacks her. Now, this all continues on with the whole mystery of what is that, what is the death grip, and what is the piece of wood that saved Nick's life, and also Eve's. We haven't gotten much more in the Eve starting to be different, though, so I'm curious if they're dropping that with only a few episodes to go. That part eventually does continue on with Monroe and Rosalie researching the mirror and trying to figure out what's going on. We get the fact that the mirror is nothing special, but there is some blood on it, which may be Eve's, or maybe that creature, because she did bite into his hand. Either way, that's kind of left in the air as we go into the Monster of the Week aspect in the procedural. This week starts off, like most do, with an odd mystery. In this case, it's how two dead bodies wound up at a crime scene. But they're not just the dead bodies, they're the fingerprints, as if the dead bodies were moving around. And of course, this leads us to the fact that they were originally criminals, that they were cremated, and that cremation center was selling bodies to some sort of ghoul-like thing. But we also get that the monster has weird monster-like arms. And that's where the mystery really kind of ends. But while they're doing that, Nick is helping stay at the hospital and watch Eve. And this is why I bring up the fact that Eve's memories were kind of fluctuating after that stick healed her. Because Nick has a whole bunch of flashbacks and is remembering all the things, like when he originally told Juliet, and watching Juliet die right before she became Eve. And all of those flashbacks lead me to believe that this whole constellation alignment thing is going to play some sort of hell with that. Which means we have love triangle territory showing up again. Hex and Beast and Grimm style. I'm not sure who has the bigger fan base, Juliet/Eve and Adeline. And I wonder if the little miracle worker baby is going to come into that at all. Not to mention the fact that there's still the whole Renard story to kind of end out, and we're running out of episodes to do that. But before we deal with that in the end of the episode, let's talk about how the main procedural part ended. Because you see, this week there was no Vesson. Instead, we have Dr. Frankenstein, and I'd like to remind you that Frankenstein isn't the name of the monster. Frankenstein is the name of the person who made the monster. And we have a pretty good and neat wrap-up of the whole story in one solid piece. And again, I like Wu and Hank working together. However, the main plot, the mirror and all of that, goes with Eve waking up. And when Eve wakes up, she tells them point blank, I think we're running out of time. I think whatever's about to happen is going to start now. And I agree, because with only a few episodes left, next week's tree episode, I'm sure, is going to be something. How do you think the season's going to end? The series is going to end? Let me know what your theories are down in the comment section, and we can talk about them next week. In the meantime, we've reached the end of this episode the way we're reaching the end of the season, and so it's time for me to ask you to like and share this episode, and then subscribe to join our community in order to help me fill out and judge all of the heart of the stories we tell. Thanks for watching.